Okay, have you heard about the psychologist Sigmund Freud?
Oh yeah, the one that has like Freudian slips.
Yes. So pretty much 100% of the population has heard of this.
I think so. In some
Okay.
way, shape, or form, right? I mean, yeah.
Okay, do you want to know the wild thing that I just learned in a psychology class?
Yes, of course.
This man wasn't even seeking evidence to prove his points. It was basically just what he thought was true, and he published stuff on it and talked about it, and it's still one of the names that we associate with psychology, even though it's not even scientifically proven.
So it was just like what he believed?
Yeah,
There's no science behind it. It's just what he believed.
according to the PowerPoint that my professor gave me, yes.
What?
And I was like, this is the exact epitome of already always listening.
100%. I guess if you think about it, anything anyone's ever written, anyone can write anything.
True. Oh, because I have another example.
Okay.
So, have you heard how if you find a bird, like a baby bird on the ground, you can't touch it, else its parents will reject it?
Yes, I've heard that so many times. And I've actually been in a situation where I wanted to help, but I don't want the mommy not to help it anymore, so I didn't touch it.
Okay, it's all lies.
No. For real?
Yes, actually, birds have a really horrible sense of smell.
Come on. So who made this up? Was this Freud too?
No, an unrelated example, but point being, someone somewhere observed a bird falling out of its nest and they put it back, and the parents never came back. But the reason birds get out of their nest is because they're trying to learn how to fly.
Right.
So I can relate to this because this summer, my 4 and 5 year old found some birds on the ground, and we were like, oh no, we need to put them back in their nest. So I got the gloves on, put them back in, and sure enough, they just hopped right out. We found them around the field for a few days, and yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they made it. Who knows?
So they're ground birds, which interestingly enough, this is a little tangent, but since we're talking about birds and all kinds of weird things, did you know that there are three types of birds? There are ground birds, there are canopy birds, and then there are sky birds, for lack of better words.
This mean like where their nests are?
No, like where they hang out, where they do things. Like you're never gonna see a sky bird like a hawk or something just like hanging out on the ground unless it's eating something, right? You're never going to see the ground birds flying super high in the sky. And then your canopy birds that are always like up in the trees, they're not going to be up super high flying and they're not going to be on the ground either.
Interesting, but don't you think all three types of birds, when they're learning how to fly, are hopping around on the ground trying to figure it out?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess you're right.
It reminds me of this other concept. My brain has been studying, so I have all of these fun little psychology side notes to
I
bring.
love it.
But this concept of humanism, and again, this is not even part of modern psychology, but it's this idea that when people are born, they're a blank slate, and everyone is born good, and society basically corrupts them.
So that's the opposite of what most religions say, that you're born a sinner.
Ooh, this is very interesting, and I didn't even put those two side by side.
But isn't that kind of the thing? It's like, oh, you were born a sinner, and now you're basically forever digging yourself out of a hole trying to be a good person so that God will grace you and bless you to go to heaven at some point.
Which is a concept I absolutely hate, by the way.
What if heaven and hell are right here on earth and you just get to choose every day which one you're going to participate in?
100%. And who's to say, again, something we can't study, if that is the truth? And also, it's very subjective because who is labeling what a sinner is or who is labeling what good is? How can we prove these things when they're subjective to the person that is observing?
Because based on XYZ, whatever is written is what is.
But doesn't that spark all these questions on perception? Because maybe bad to you is killing someone. Okay, that's probably bad to everyone, but maybe bad to someone else is not going to church every Sunday.
It's all subjective for sure.
And wouldn't your perception change based on what you went through so far in life?
And however you grew up, you're already always listening ears. Or eyes, really. You're already always seeing eyes. It goes back to the reticular activating system even.
Oh, 100%. And so for the listeners that maybe are just chiming in on this one, explain to them what the reticular activating system is.
So the reticular activating system is this thing in your brain, and basically what it does is if you a perfect example is let's say that I got a new car, and my brain automatically is going to see that car everywhere I go. But are there more of those cars on the road, or is my brain just now programmed to see those because I've been thinking about those and I just got one? So that's kind of how the reticular activating system works, right?
And you are now putting your attention on that thing. And so even though all those cars were there before, they are now in your awareness and you're actually quote unquote seeing them.
Yes.
So, how powerful could perception be when we are navigating and healing and figuring out life?
It's everything.
Okay, I have another study.
All right, let's hear it.
So, there were these two groups of students, and their objective was to teach these lab rats how to go through these mazes.
Hmm.
And one group of students was taught that they had the good maze rats. These rats have been tested and they're good at mazes.
Okay, keep going. I have so many
And
questions already.
okay, stay with me here. The other group was told that they got the bad maze rats. So these rats have already been tested and they're bad at mazes.
Okay.
But all of these rats had never been trained in mazes, if that's even a thing. They're just a random assortment of rats. There's no good, bad, anything. They're all just equal playing field.
Okay.
So the students in the first group that had the good rats had massively better results over this 5 day period of teaching their rats this maze. Their rats performed so much better than the group that had the quote bad rats. But there was no difference in the rats. It was only the difference in the students' perception of those rats.
This can go so many different directions right now. Because one, I'm thinking of Freud, right? He basically just made stuff up. He just made it up and then published it in a book, and now he is being taught about in all over the world, including your professor in this class. And it's almost like a placebo, right? Where a doctor gives you something, tells you what it's going to do for you, and if you believe that it works, even if it's a sugar pill, it works.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with these rats. If you thought that they were inherently good, then you get inherently good results. But it's just the power of words and the belief and the intention behind them.
Yes. So, how can we as humans train our perception to make all of our dreams come true?
That's such a deep question, but I don't think it's a difficult answer.
Okay, so should we share what we're doing in the mastermind?
Yeah, I think it's important to share what's going on out there and what people have the ability to be a part of if it's something that they're interested in. Because these
Okay.
are the little things that make big changes over time.
Okay, yes. So we had met with a group of 6 or 7 women. What has it been? About a week ago. And Through our conversation, we decided that, okay, we want to call in more flow. We want to call in more abundance
More
when we are in our
ease.
divine feminine, when we are in play. And another woman had mentioned how what she had been doing was taking her gratitude practice a little bit deeper. So rather than just doing our lists, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for our house, etc., etc., she was going a little bit deeper into, ooh, I am grateful for this exact moment and how it made me feel, and just like getting below the surface.
Ooh, okay. So there's some depth to it. It's not just like that very moment. It's taking it a step or two further.
Yes. So, as a group, we decided, okay, how can we combine these two together to take inventory of the things that are showing up when we're in flow or when we're in play, while also practicing specific gratitude and presence in all of these moments.
Mm.
Okay, so I just want to share a couple of the things that are on my list, because the key component of this exercise, and I suggest everyone who's listening do this to some extent. Just start a log, maybe in Google Drive. You can even do it on your phone and have three columns. Okay, four columns. One is the date, two is the gratitude items, three is what was I doing, and four is your reflection.
So what was I doing when I recognized that this was happening or when it popped into my head? Okay.
When the awesome thing you're grateful for happened.
Okay, cool.
And column four has been blowing my mind. These reflections are so good. And I would love for people to take this on and tell me some of theirs. But let me just share some of what's happened in the last week.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so what was I doing? I had just got done working out and I did Kundalini that morning, and I was eating brunch that my partner had made for me that was waiting in the oven, and I was sitting outside. It was like completely in self-care, all the things I love to do. And I opened my phone and I had two messages. And one was from a client who I had met with about a week ago, and she showed me a picture she had drawn about her reflections. Rather than journaling on what came through in her akashic session, she drew a picture and she told me how powerful it was, and it just gives me all the warm fuzzies when I hear something like that.
Yeah.
And another client, right when I was having all these warm fuzzies and like, oh, yay, so happy for you. Can I share this? I love people to hear this story. Another one popped in that I hadn't met with for probably a month. And she was telling me how a metaphor that had shown up in her Akashic reading was showing up, and how now she knew what her next step was.
Oh, I love that because even in my reading, there was a few things where I was like, "Ooh, I wonder when that's going to show up or when that's going to make sense."
Yeah. And so I could have just taken my gratitude and like, oh yeah, that's nice, that all that stuff happened while I was doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But when you get to the reflection, my reflection is like, this medicine, these gifts, these sessions, they keep on giving long after the
Yeah.
actual meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so much bigger than this time money exchange that we so often think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just share one more. I hope this isn't boring.
No, it's so fascinating. And actually, I think it's really important to realize that sometimes, whether it's a Kundalini astral journey or it's an Akashic Records reading, sometimes I think it's important for people, if you've never done anything like that before, or even if you have and you feel like you didn't have an experience, a couple of things could be that, right? One, your perception just might be that, well, nothing happened, and because you're looking for something outside of you to be happening, but really it's all happening within. And sometimes we don't understand that in the moment until later down the road when you're doing another Kundalini session or breath work, or you're taking a walk and then that thing pops in your head and you're just like, oh my gosh. And then it makes sense. And you're like, that session was everything. But in that moment, it didn't feel like anything.
Yes. And I love the open-mindedness of that. And it's very much getting behind beyond these human ideas we have because it is very timeless. And so a lot of this stuff does make sense later.
Yeah. And because there's so many different timelines that we can be on at any given time or any given moment, it might not make sense in where you were in that moment. But as you continue to evolve or shift, that's when things start to click and make more sense along the way.
Yes. And even in this imagined scenario, you were doing the things that had your perception of being open to that experience, right? Because the other option is you got your head down on the ground doing your human things, cleaning, walking the dog, and you're like, oh, that session sucked. I didn't get anything out of that. And then what would have happened?
Yeah.
That would have been your
Well,
reality.
I was talking to a friend earlier this week and I asked her a question about something, and it really just came back to being present. I think I asked her something along the lines of, how can I be more in the flow of source? Something like that. And she said, well, just ask source. And I said, well, I'm asking you, source through you. And she said, how did I know that you were going to say that? And I said, because I am you and you are me and we are we. Because we're everything and nothing all in one,
Yes.
which sounds insane. So if you've never heard these concepts before, don't run away just yet. Yeah, just take it for what it is now. And if it means nothing, that's okay. But at some point, maybe it will, because it didn't mean anything to me for a long time. And now I'm just kind of like, oh, so she did say, what if? Because I really struggle with trying to figure out what is my purpose. She's like, your purpose is to be you without the ego and let source experience life through you. But
Ugh.
to do that, you have to be present. And to be present, you have to literally zoom out of your body and remember that you are source having a human experience through your body. And that just blew my mind for some reason. And still, even saying it, it's like, but wait, what? So it's not me having a spiritual experience, it's source having a human experience through me.
I am in love with this right now. Okay. It goes back to the law of divine oneness.
Yes.
So we are all connected in this sense, when you went on that little thing and people are like, well, hold on. What? But if we all are connected in this concept of source or God or universe, it doesn't matter what you're calling it.
Right.
And we all incarnated here on earth to learn these different lessons or give these different gifts or raise the vibration of the planet or whatever your thing is. Like you said, maybe your whole point is just to be, to experience orgasms and food and putting your feet on the mud?
Yeah.
I just love that source having a human experience versus a human having a spiritual
It's a
experience.
different perspective. And everything is perspective. If you are like me and sometimes you have road rage, if I shift my perspective in the moment, instead of getting mad at the person just cut me off, I can come from a different perspective where maybe that person is in a hurry to get somewhere, or they're daydreaming because something really horrible just happened in their family, or whatever. We don't know what is happening for anyone else in any given moment.
Yes. And it goes back to this idea, which I'm going to say a million times, but everyone is always doing the best they can with the information and experience they have.
Yeah.
So simply in those cases, by shifting your perspective from Christine, who's in a hurry, who needs to get to that meeting on time, to, oh my gosh, maybe, something, they just got horrible news.
Yeah. Or maybe this person is slowing me down, but maybe it's keeping me from an accident.
Mm.
Or it could be anything.
That was a really beautiful source perspective.
Yes.
Keeping you, it's all in
Faith.
divine timing.
Yes.
Okay, so I have another example based on my gratitude and abundance log of how this perception can make us feel more abundant.
Okay.
Yesterday, I took all the kids to, okay, I have two little guys, 4 and 5, and then I have two step kids. They're 12 and 16. And my partner was working. And so I was like, ooh, let's go to the Lauritzen Gardens. It's this beautiful place that has this playground, and I don't even know how many acres of all these different gardens, and they do all these amazing shows. So we went on a scavenger hunt for these topiaries of all these different animals,
That's
and
so fun.
oh, it was so fun. And the reason we decided to go yesterday is for whatever reason, I came across my library card, and I was online, and I don't even know how this information came to me, but it turns out just by having a library card, you get all these free tickets to all these places in my city, which is Omaha. So if you have an Omaha Public Library card, hop on this. It's called the Discovery Pass. But I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, amazing.
But wait, I think it's really cool that you have a library card.
Well, when you have kids, you have a library card.
But do you? Is that like
I
a thing?
mean,
If you have kids, you have a library card?
don't you? I don't know. Moms, chime in. Isn't this a normal
Please
thing?
comment below and let us know if this is a thing. What I will say is that I do have a couple of friends who are moms and they also have library cards. So you might be onto something. It might be a thing. And actually, I feel like now that I'm thinking of it, one of my friends has multiple library cards because different libraries have different activities on different days. And so they would go to the different ones for the different things. And especially in the summer, because it's so hot in Florida for sure. And it's in South Carolina, actually. These girls are in South Carolina, but I read so much and I've never thought one time that maybe I should go to the library instead of buying all these freaking books behind me. Like I
I was
literally
gonna say, clearly, you
my
have.
bookshelf is so full that I need another one. And I'm just thinking to myself, and a library card is free, Christine, but you should spend thousands of dollars on books instead.
Oh, girl, I was the same way until I had kids, and then, but you're right. I still haven't gotten a book that I want to read at the library, but I think I will because I just finished my book, and I'm like, okay, library, here we come.
You've inspired me. I am going to get a library card and I am going to get a book of leisure because that is something another friend had inspired me to do recently was everything that I read is always to learn something. I
Yeah.
cannot tell you the last time I picked up a book to read it just for leisure.
Yes.
And a friend of mine said that her and her husband recently decided that was it I think it's in the evening. They were just doing it when they traveled, but they're not traveling right now. And I know she's still reading them, but she decided that she's only going to read for leisure in the evenings or whatever. But so, whatever. Now she's reading these books, these for leisure instead of personal development, instead of, something about psychocybernetics or it's not any sort of development or learning or religion or anything. It's just for fun. And she said it has sparked her creativity in such a way that now she is writing her own book,
Oh,
multiple books actually, and that just gave me tingles on my head. And I just thought, oh, why don't I do that?
yeah. Well, it is about this self-nurturing aspect of ourselves, and I love that sparked creativity in
Yeah,
her.
I know.
And those are the kind of moments, like just reading a book for pure. leisure that are going to put you in those flow states or are going to open your perception up to, for instance, having the library card and seeing that now you have access to all these free tickets for the whole family.
That's so fun.
Okay, so I took all the kids to Loretz and Gardens on this free pass. And on the way there, I called my partner and he was like, "Hey, why don't you come down to the restaurant and have dinner with us?" And I haven't really talked about what he does, but he works with various investment firms and does restaurant consulting, but he's working on a project right now. And so basically, he gets a comp at this restaurant, and so after we had this beautiful day and walked 8,000 steps and went on a scavenger hunt and played on all these really cute houses and mailboxes and whatever all the fun stuff was for the kids, we went and had free dinner.
Wonderful. You didn't have to
Amazing.
cook, you didn't have to clean, and it was a yummy dinner.
Yes. And this was hours and hours of entertainment.
Amazing.
And so the reflection that I wrote down was that abundance flows even invisibly. So even though it's easy for us to conceptualize like cash money coming in based on a Stripe notification or a paycheck, technically yesterday I made like $200 of free stuff.
Because you didn't have to pay for all the things that you enjoyed.
Yeah, perspective shift.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And interestingly enough, abundance is also tied to presence. And you were so present in the moments and spending the time with your kids that another opportunity then arose because you were in the flow. I was thinking about this when I was thinking about presence and how Source is experiencing life through me, not me experiencing life through Source. And then I started thinking, humans are so weird. We're the only species that works to live. And if you think about a bee, a black and yellow, like a bumblebee or something, a bee literally only has to be a bee. And what does a bee do? It just bees. It literally, all it has to do is fly around to different flowers. And as it's being a bee, sipping pollen here and sipping pollen there, it's pollinating everything. So the doing is in the being. So the bee doesn't have to do anything to be special or to eat or drink. It just has to be. It doesn't have to pay rent. It doesn't have to, grow anything. It literally just shows up and just bees a bee and does what it does as it's being. Are you following this?
Yes, and you're so right on today with your anecdotes. I am loving it.
But it's like, I mean, when you really think about that, how did we get this far? And we're the only ding dongs. I don't want to say wasting our time, but we're over here doing all of these things, trying to do something just so we can be somebody. But all we have to do is be who we are. That puts you automatically in the state of flow. And Bashar says it, if you take action on the things that inspire you, then you are basically telling the universe, source, God, yeah, I hear you. Give me more of it. You're showing them that I am taking action on these things that inspire me. And then you get more opportunities like that. So as long as you're taking action on the things that you are interested in or are passionate about, then more opportunities will show up. And you just do it for as long as you have passion for that thing, but not because of the outcome, because it lights up your soul.
And that is how abundance flows to you. And it came true for us yesterday, or was this 2 days ago? Because while we're recording this, we technically haven't even released any episodes. So they're all queued up, ready to go. But we just started our Instagram, what, maybe a week ago.
Yep.
And we have, I think, 6 posts by now. And was it 2 days ago? we got offered a free photo shoot on our already always listening Instagram.
And why do you think that happened?
This is so fun. We're in flow. We're being the bee.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And because we mentioned, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so fun if we had a photo shoot and we actually had pictures of us now and that we could use in some of our marketing? And then it wasn't even an hour later. It was like, oh,
Oh my gosh, instant gratification for the win. Thank you, Tracy from TFCX Portraits.
for real. Oh my gosh, I have to check flights still.
Yeah. Now there's just all the logistics.
That's the easy part, though. That's the fun part because, again, when the timing is right, the right flight will be there at the right price, and all of the things, everything that we've done so far has been so in the flow.
Yeah.
It's not forced, it's just fun, and hopefully it is making people think a little differently.
Yes.
That's it.
Love it.